Hello everyone, welcome to my guide on how to create custom keyboard layouts for NohBoard. It is a free program that displays an on-screen keyboard to your PC, which is useful in online tutorials, gaming, and other applications. You will need to download the program, link is in the description, and Photoshop or a photo editing software to edit image files. There are two versions of the program. Be sure to download the rewrite version as it allows for further customization. The current version of the rewrite version is version 1.3 on GitHub. Once downloaded, right-click on the blue screen and select Load Keyboard. This will then make you choose which keyboard layout to load. In addition, for the purpose of this example we will be working on, download the keyboard layout file. Link is in the description, and place the file in your NohBoard folder. Place keyboard layouts in your keyboards folder. Right-click on the keyboard layout, then click Start Editing to edit the keyboard layout. There are three ways to move keys. First is to select a key and then use arrow keys to move them for more precise movement. Second way is to click and drag a key to move it around conveniently, but you will want to use arrow keys to position it precisely afterwards. Third way is to right-click on a key, then Element Properties, then define the X and Y coordinates of each point. There are 4 coordinates that make up the shape of the key. If you add more coordinates, it will then change the shape of the key. Since we have diagonal keys, we only have 4 points. You can add as many points as you'd like, or even make hexagonal keys, which is more complicated, but you can come up with a good design if you have the patience to key in the values. To change a coordinate, select it and then type the X and Y coordinates in the Boundaries field. Click Update once done. You can also add new coordinates, remove them or reorder them using the buttons to the left. You can resize the keyboard by clicking and dragging its edges. Keep in mind the change in size will also reflect when you right-click, then go to Keyboard Properties. Expanding the keyboard will give us more space to add more keys, which is what we will do next. To add a key, right-click on Open Space, then add New Element, then add Keyboard Key. You will then be given an empty box. Left-click on it to select it, and then right-click on it, then Element Properties. We are back with the same dialog before. This time, we will define how the key will appear. A. Without pressing the Shift key, and B. While pressing the Shift key. For example, let us add this particular key in our keyboard, which is the single quote. Type single quote in the text field. Then in the Shift text field, hold Shift. And press the same key to type in the quotation marks character. We then need to enter the key code on the right side. The JavaScript key code represents what key will be assigned to which button, which you can search from the list. Link is in the description. In this case, the code for single quote is 222. Add it to the key and click Accept. Now we need to test if the key works. Try typing on the key and see if it lights up. If it does, then it is working properly and we have successfully added a key. Holding Shift will make the other key that we specified also appear. Let's examine the folder of our keyboard layout. Each folder in the Keyboards folder represents a different keyboard layout. You can install a new keyboard layout by dragging and dropping its folder here. A keyboard layout contains an image folder and a folder of its name again. The image folder is where pictures of keys and mouse buttons are stored in .png file. Normal keys are 160 by 130 pixels in size, but you can change it to whatever size you want. Horizontal keys such as the numpad 0 can be 320 by 130 pixels. Vertical keys such as the numpad plus can be 160 by 260 pixels. Parts of the mouse are also stored here, such as the left mouse button, right mouse button, the entire figure of the mouse, scroll wheel up and scroll wheel down. Each key and mouse button has a loose and pressed state, so you will have to provide separate .png images for each using Photoshop or other photo editing software. Going into the other folder, we have the .style file, which dictates the graphical style of the keyboard layout. The keyboard.json file, which is mandatory for all keyboard layouts, defines the keys binds via the JavaScript key IDs we did earlier and their X and Y position in the keyboard layout. So for example, if I want a certain key to look a certain way, we will use Photoshop to make how the key looks in its loose state, i.e. not pressed, and its pressed state. Make a new canvas of size 160 by 130 pixels. Clear the white background since we will make it transparent. Use the rounded rectangle tool to draw the outline of the key. Set the thickness of the key to 5 pixels, or whichever size you want, and resize the edges to make them fit along the border of the canvas. Since our keys are slanted, we have to skew the key by Edit, Transform, Skew. The degree of the skew involves a bit of trial and error, depending on how you want it to appear. Once you settle with this key though, you will be using this same outline for all of your keys. Make a new text layer and type in the character that you want it to appear, in this case, the single quote. Set the font style to Microsoft Sans Serif. Change the font color to white. Now we need to align the key in center position. Do this each time you move the text or if you change its size. Hit Ctrl+A to select everything, and then click on the buttons above to center align it. We then save our work as .png by file. Save as. Label the file with name+L.png at the end to signify it as the loose picture of the key. Now we need to make the pressed state of the key as well. We will simply add color to the background of the key to indicate it is pressed. Rasterize the rectangular layer first so we can edit it. Make a new layer first, then go back and select the rectangle layer again. Pick the magic wand tool and click on the background of the rectangular layer to only select the background. Then select the new layer again and fill it with the color you like. You can also change the opacity of the background to give it a lighter look rather than a solid one. I recommend values between 50 to 75%. Now we then save our key. File. Save as. Name+P, the P at the end indicate it is the pressed state of the key. Be sure to drop all of your created images in the Images folder of the keyboard layout as discussed previously. This entire process is done the same for creating mouse buttons and keys of other sizes such as the spacebar, the Shift key and vertical keys such as the numpad plus. You simply need to change the canvas size when you make a new canvas and then design the key similarly. For mouse buttons, you can settle with the existing one or even come up with your own to give it a unique look. For making all the other normal keys, just use this file and change the character on the key. Hit File then Save As. Make sure to make a .png image for both loose and pressed state of each key. Now to apply our image to the key, select the key, right-click on it, and then Element Style. Click on both, Overwrite Default Style, checkboxes at the bottom and specify the name of the file inside your image folder. Try pressing the key to see if it works. If it doesn't, be sure to double-check the key code to the right and use the JavaScript Key Codes, link in the description. Now we need to make it the same size as the rest of the keys. To do this, we simply need to copy the coordinates of one of the keys. Over time, you can keep doing this process and end up with this result for each key. Note that if you defined a key as an image, then it will be unable to show its state when Shift is pressed, for keys that have multiple inputs such as the number keys and brackets. To overlay the on-screen keyboard to an application such as a game, we will use a software called OBS, which is free to download and available in Windows, Mac and Linux, so download and install it. Click Add Source on the bottom, select Window Capture and select the NohBoard program. Next we need to add a filter to remove the blue background on the keyboard. Right-click on the source you just created, then click Filter, then add Color key. Select Custom Color and then click on Select Color, then pick Screen Color, then click on the blue background of the keyboard. You can then copy the similarity and smoothness values I used or experiment on your own. Try to eliminate the blues as much as possible. Lastly, click on Add Source, Window Capture and select an application such as a game to display your on-screen keyboard. Change the order of the keyboard by selecting it under the Sources list and clicking on the up and down arrow keys. Thank you for watching. If this has helped you, please consider liking and subscribing. Happy gaming!